Okay, so in this lesson, again, we're talking about introduction to polynomials, and this is part 5. And in part 5, we're going to be writing polynomials in descending order with missing terms. Now, in a previous lesson, you did write polynomials in descending order, but in this case, we're going to write the missing terms as well. Now, the reason why you would want to put in the missing terms is when we divide polynomials. So in a future lesson, probably about 3 lessons from now, we're going to be dividing polynomials. And when we divide polynomials, we're going to write them in descending order with missing terms. Okay, so let's review something from a previous lesson, and that previous lesson is just writing the polynomial in descending order. That's all we did. So let's kind of remember how we did this. So if you look at this example, we have this polynomial, negative 2x squared plus 4x to the fifth minus 3x plus 2. And when we write this polynomial in descending order, then notice there's just one variable, the variable is x. We put in descending order, and we sometimes say descending powers. So we look at the exponents and we put them in descending order. So we write it from largest to smallest. So it's like you're descending, like in a plane when you descend. So you're going from high altitude to low altitude. So in this case, you're going from large exponent to the smallest exponent. Now, I need for you to remember, see this exponent right here is 2, this exponent is 5, this exponent is 1. Now remember, a constant term, you got to remember this, a constant term, the exponent is 0, the degree. Remember we talked about degree, D-E-G-R-E-E, the degree is 0. Because remember, 2, you can write as 2x to the 0 power. And remember, x to the 0 power is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. All right? So the first term we're going to write will be 4x to the fifth, because that's the largest exponent. Then there's no x cubed, and so that's where in a little while we're going to talk about the missing terms. So x cubed is missing. But it doesn't matter here because I just want to write them in descending order. There's nothing mentioned about missing terms. X to the fourth is missing, but then the next one is x squared, so I'm going to write negative 2x squared. All right, so write it like this, 4x to the fifth minus 2x squared. Now there's nothing wrong with writing it as 4x to the fourth plus a negative 2x squared, but mathematically it looks more pleasing if you just say 4x to the fifth minus 2x squared. That's the way we write it. Then here's x to the first, so we say minus 3x, and then plus 2. Okay, your constant term is always written last. All right, and then let's look at one more with this. So in this case, again, we have the variable x, so we put in descending order. The largest exponent is 4, so I'm going to say 3x to the fourth. Then the next one is x cubed minus 5x cubed. The x squared term is missing. Then I'm going to go to write it as 2x. And then your constant term is always last. Okay? So that was a review from a previous lesson. Now let's talk about today's lesson. So today's lesson, which is going to help us when we divide polynomials, because when we divide polynomials, you are going to have to put the missing terms. So you're going to write each polynomial in descending powers of the variable with no missing terms. See, in this case, you had missing terms. You left the missing terms out. So we're missing x cubed, we're missing x to the fourth. Here we're missing x squared. Okay? All right, so number 1. So we have x squared plus 9. So the largest exponent I see is 2. So I'm going to write that first. So x squared. The next exponent that you would see would be x to the first. It is missing. So x to the first is missing. So what that means is that you're going to write it as plus 0 x to the first, or plus 0x. Okay? So it's always going to be plus 0 times x, because x times 0 is 0, and 0 plus x squared is still x squared. And then finally, your constant term is last. All right, so there's your answer. So I'm missing x to the first. You don't see x to the first, so you write it as plus 0 times x. Next one. So here the largest exponent is x cubed. The largest exponent is 3. So I'm going to write 3x cubed, and then we're going to descend. The next one would be x squared. It is missing. So remember, you're going to say, just like we did here, you're going to say plus 0x squared. The next one will be x. It is missing. So we're going to say plus 0x. And then finally your constant term, which is minus 6. So again, this is going to be important when we divide polynomials, because you're going to want to put the missing terms, and you're going to put them for alignment purposes. Okay, so here we have 9m cubed plus m squared minus 5. All right, so the largest exponent I see is 3. So I'm going to say 9m cubed. The next one would be m squared, which I do have. So plus m squared. The m term is missing, so I'm going to say plus 0m. And then your constant term is always written last. All right, next one. All right, so the largest exponent I see is 4. So I'm going to say a to the 4th, because that's the term, a to the 4th. The next exponent would be 3, which I do have, so minus 3a cubed, rather. All right, and then a squared is missing, so I say plus 0a squared. The a term is missing, plus 0a, and then the constant is missing, so I say plus 0. Okay? All right, now, again, when we divide polynomials, these 0 terms are going to be needed. They're going to be needed. All right, the last one, we have x cubed plus 7x to the 5th minus 8x plus 1. All right, so the largest exponent I see, oops, I'm sorry, right here, it's not just 0, 0 times a to the 0 power. I'm sorry, I forgot to put that. So don't just say plus 0, because you got to have a to the 4th, a cubed, a squared, a to the 1st, a to the 0. Okay? All right. Okay, over here, I'm going to have 7x to the 5th. X to the 4th is missing, so I'm going to say plus 0x to the 4th. I do have an x cubed, so I'm going to say plus x cubed. I don't have an x squared, so it's missing, so I'm going to say plus 0x squared. And I do have an x term, so I'm going to say minus 8x, and then my constant term, which is plus 1. All right? Okay, so that was this lesson. That's all it is. It's very simple. Just putting in the missing terms. So you're going to write as 0 times a squared, or 0 times a, or 0 times m, or 0 times x to the 4th, whatever's missing. But be careful about this one. So whenever your constant term is missing, just don't put plus 0. You're going to say plus 0a to the 0. Okay? That's how you're going to write it. Okay, so that takes care of part 5.